Welcome back to another episode of Rock Boys Football, late Monday night, but some massive news for the Alabama fans as former Michigan safety Keon Sabb transferring to Alabama. And y'all know, as a Michigan fan, I was a massive fan of Keon Sabb. I was really excited about what he could do year 3 for Michigan. And I'll say this for Alabama fans, and I think I speak for Michigan fans in general. Y'all got a good one in Keon Sabb, an extremely versatile safety that can do a lot of different things in the back end of a defense. This is a guy that can come in, play that nickel role, can play that box safety role, can play the free safety role. A guy that I think the best football for Keon Sabb is ahead of him. And he had a phenomenal national championship game against Kalen DeBoer and the Washington Huskies. And there's no doubt in my mind, Kalen DeBoer went back, watched that film, saw Keon Sabb hit the transfer portal, and that was a very quick call to Keon Sabb. Phenomenal get for Alabama. Want to talk about Keon Sabb, what he brings to the table, and then take a look at what this Alabama secondary room is going to look like in 2024. Talk about Keon Sabb, Malachi Moore. That is a very nice safety duo for Alabama heading into that 2024 season. Before we get into it, just want to say thank you to you guys, and it has been a blast covering this Alabama team as Kalen DeBoer has taken over this program, brought in guys in the transfer portal. Cannot thank you guys enough for rocking with the fellas. If y'all do enjoy the content, consider subscribing to the channel. And without further ado, let's get into Keon Sabb. And again, as a Michigan fan, I have watched a lot of Keon Sabb. And again, speaking for Michigan fans as a whole, this is a guy that a lot of Michigan fans, this one stung. And you don't always say that for guys hitting the transfer portal. I'm sure Alabama fans very familiar with that feeling as well. There are a lot of players that hit the transfer portal, and you're like, yeah, okay, that makes sense. Not sure how much we'll miss you. Keon Sabb, at least for me, was certainly not one of those guys. This was a player that we were all very excited for going into year 3. Now, getting into Keon Sabb, a guy that what I think excites me the most for Keon Sabb in his time at Alabama is I think his best football is in front of him. He had a tough time getting on the field for Michigan his first 2 years. And even in that second year, he started for Michigan in that national championship game, but there was a lot of rotation going on with Michigan in the back end of that defense. Played over 350 snaps. This is a guy that from a physical trait standpoint at 6'1", 210 pounds, a phenomenal athlete. I think the last step for him is just getting a little bit more experience. I think that's why he hit the transfer portal, to find a destination where he's going to get a lot of reps, a lot of experience. And when Keon Sabb gets that, when he develops a little bit more of those instincts, that's what I mean when the best football for Keon Sabb is ahead of him. This is a guy that the more he gets on the football field, the better he's going to get as a football player. And you take a look at what that Bama secondary room looks like specifically in the safety department. Keon Sabb, Malachi Moore, those are two of the most versatile safeties that you'll see in college football. You guys are familiar with Malachi Moore. Filling you in on a little bit on Keon Sabb, you take a look at the snap count for Keon Sabb, a guy that 67 snaps as a box safety, 61 snaps as a slot nickel defender, 226 as a free safety at 6'1", 210 pounds. The range that he has to play that center field safety is extremely impressive. You take a look at Keon Sabb in coverage, faced 21 targets for Michigan in 2023, only gave up 10 catches, had 8 forced incompletions on the year. Keon Sabb is one of those guys that I really do think has special traits in terms of the ability to do a lot of different things with him, right? He's a guy that you can play him in man coverage. There was a lot of chatter along Michigan fans of Keon Sabb playing that nickel role for Michigan in 2024. And he's a guy that you can play in the box. He's 6'1", 210 pounds, a guy that's going to be very good against the run, but phenomenal long speed to play in the back end as that center field safety as well. Only 10% missed tackle rate, phenomenal tackler. Again, big guy at 210 pounds. Want to take a look at this Alabama secondary as a whole heading into 2024. With the addition of Keon Sabb, you look at the safety room with Malachi Moore and Keon Sabb, and it will be hard to find that many safety rooms that are better than Keon Sabb and Malachi Moore. But you take a look at what's around that safety group. You have a ton of talent coming into this Alabama program, right? You land former 5-star cornerback Damani Jackson from USC, a guy that There were some growing pains his first 2 years as a player at USC, but I think a lot of USC fans would say, given the right development, I mean, Damani Jackson is a guy that's one of the fastest players on the football field, a big physical frame. He's a guy that the physical traits are there. You get him developed, you're looking at a very talented cornerback. And then you take guys like Xavier Mincy, Jalen Mbakwe, Zabian Brown coming in as true freshmen to this Alabama program. Out of those three guys, you're probably looking at a couple of those guys playing significant snaps for Alabama in 2024. If you're an Alabama fan, like late Monday night, this is a massive addition in my mind. You're getting a versatile safety that you can do a lot of different things with, and kind of shores up a secondary room that you got really two really good safeties, which is going to be big because you might be really young at that cornerback position. Really big gap. Again, as a Michigan fan, this one stings, but Alabama fans, y'all got a good one for sure. Appreciate you guys rocking with the fellas. If y'all do enjoy the content, consider subscribing to the channel. Appreciate you guys, and we'll talk to y'all later.